fresh violence in Manipur. In fact, isolated incidents of violence repeatedly being reported in Manipur state, now limping back to normalcy. In fact, fresh firing has been reported in the Jiribam town. At least 6 people have died in Jiribam. Now, this as schools and colleges remain shut in Manipur. Now, remember, there was a rocket attack that was reported just yesterday in the valley town of Moirang. In fact, a former chief minister's home was targeted as well, and so was a key museum, the INA Museum in Moirang, which of course is an extremely popular museum there. Multiple people have been injured, and at least 12 people have died in the last 24 hours in a series of attacks. Now remember, there was a drone-propelled attack also that was reported in Manipur several days ago, and yesterday's attack was a rocket attack that targeted a former chief minister's home, but now 6 people have died in Jiribam. Let me go right across to my colleague Ratndeep Chaudhary. So Ratndeep, what's the latest that you have on the Jiribam firing? Extremely concerning that repeated incidents, though isolated incidents of violence being reported in Manipur.
That's right. There has been a major escalation in the last 24 hours, given the fact that yesterday afternoon in Bishnupur district, a rocket had hit the house of the first chief minister of Manipur, Kulendra Singha, which is just next to the INA Museum, the Indian National Army Museum. Moirang is a very historic place. The Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose-led Indian National Army had hoisted its first national tricolor there in Moirang, and you have a museum there commemorating it, and that was the likely target. That's what police sources were telling us. But this morning there have been heavy exchange of fire in Jiribam district bordering Assam, and what we have gathered from security forces sources is that at least 6 people have lost their lives. Now armed groups from both sides have tried to attack each other. They were engaged in firing and in retaliatory firing as well. And in this process, there have been 6 deaths. The deaths include people from both communities. So security forces have launched a combing operation in the area. In fact, there are reports of firing from Sugnu area, but still now casualties or injuries are not known. So in the last 24 hours, at least half a dozen people have died, and there have been several injuries. And remember, only last week, last Sunday, actually the fresh escalation first started when bombs were launched from drones in several parts of Imphal West, and there in Kotuk, 2 people had died and 10 people were injured. So therefore now combing operation continues, but a lot of concerns given the fact that in the Imphal Valley civil society groups have called for a public emergency, so therefore vehicles are off-road, shops are closed. Also, the state government today, as a precautionary measure, has closed down schools. So this was a very important development that took place. There have been concerns over how, despite the central forces being there, including Assam Rifles in the hills particularly, and then you have the CRPF and the BSF in the valley. You have in some areas army operating with the joint forces. Despite what the government has been claiming, particularly Ministry of Home Affairs have been overseeing this entire process of trying to keep both the warring communities at a distance. Still, they have been able to manage to attack each other with long distance, with long range attempts like firing of rockets and drone being used, and also exchange of fire and taking on each other. So this is something which is very concerning.